Right, folks, we'll make a start. It's 6:30. Welcome, everybody, to the Community Development Committee meeting. Just a reminder that the meeting's being recorded. And we'll go straight into the agenda. We're a bit thin on the ground today. Any apologies for absent?
Councillor Susan Davey.
Thank you.
Apologies from Councillor Humphrey.
And the councillors Barras, Nisbet, Robson and Stanley.
Thank you. But Elaine advises me that we are quorate going up to this whole meeting. Any disclosures of interest or grants of dispensations?
No, Chair.
No, thank you. The minutes of the previous Community Development Committee on the 6th of Feb have already been agreed at the annual meeting. And there were no actions arising from those minutes. The Community Development Budget Monitoring Report, which gives an indication of where we are as at the 20th of June. You should have all had a copy of that. Malcolm's got a bit of an update to give on that one.
Right, thank you. On code 903, we've actually received the £7,500 grant for the next part of the work on the neighbourhood plan. So that came in after this document's been produced. On the D-Day Festival in Glyde Live, we've still got invoices to pay, but we've still got a lot of income to receive from the fairground people as well.
Yes, Brian.
We will get an update on that, but if and when it occurs, like, we will come up next week, or we'll get just a friendly email about that.
Oh, I mean, the community development budget will be getting reported to the governance committee, because the governance committee receive all the committees. Hopefully we'll have the money in by then, but if not, we'll have received the money by the next community development committee, which is back end of September. So yes.
Chair, presume it's the same with the live music event. We probably haven't got all the invoices in yet, or when you come in or going out.
We've still done well on income again on that live music festival, which is nice to see. Anything else, Malcolm? You want
No.
to update us? Any comments from anybody or any questions on the budget? No? I'm happy with that. Okay, moving on to item 6, which is the decision report on Blythe Valley Trust for Youth. Malcolm's prepared this report, so you want to do a quick summary of it?
Yeah, it's quite ironic, this one, because in the report it's got that, this charity was set up in the day of the Blythe Valley. It's funny how things come round. And if the committee do agree to this tonight, I actually used to look after the finances in my Blythe Valley days.
Oh,
So that was 40 years ago. But yeah, I mean, on the close down of Blythe Valley, it went off to the county. I don't think a lot happened when it went to the county, but it then became the responsibility as a trustee of Active Northumberland. Now, Active Northumberland, as you know, I haven't got the contract anymore for the leisure in Northumberland. That's been liquidated in September, October. So really, they're looking for somebody else to take it over again. The county council feel it would be better administered by Blythe as to how they wish to. The problem, the original trust is for the benefit of Blythe Valley residents. The Blythe Valley residents served and included Blythe, Cromley, Seaton Sluice, Seaton Dowell, Sergill and Places Island. So if we do want to take, it'd be a separate entity, but if we do want to take it on as trustees, we've then got to work out, do we want it for Blythe, do we want it for the whole of the old Blythe Valley Borough? And if we do, then we've got again discussions with the other neighbouring parishes.
right, Caitlin and then Grant and then Brian.
Just to check, obviously this mentions active Northumberland. Is this currently held with the county council and therefore places for leisure, or is it still active Northumberland involved somehow?
Active Northumberland are the trustees at the moment. There's no wish by the county council or goes places for leisure. They would like the discussions between Northumberland County and Active Northumberland, or that it's their wish that comes to Blythe Town Council.
Thank you.
Ron?
Yeah, just to explain, I'll explain what happened with the schools trust, and you can possibly do the same with this trust of Site Group One. The schools trust is quite a large investment fund from the county council. I was on it for quite a long time. So the investment money that comes back, the interest that comes back annually, schools were able to bid into it for stuff that they couldn't raise finance for, such as additional specialist library books, PC systems that were specialist to certain subjects, like software and stuff like that. But a third item they could do was if they had a gifted child at that school, they could make a bid into the schools trust. And these weren't enormous amounts of money that the gifted children got. But if a gifted child was in a Northumberland school but lived in a, because the side of the boundaries, it's nearly 1,100 mile of boundary, it lived in another area. So lots of kids come into school in Northumberland but live in places like Gateshead, Newcastle, Scottish Borders, that type of thing. Carlisle, anyway. If the gift was given to the school, the council where the child lived in was written to, and I can't recall there ever being an occasion where they didn't share the cost. So they must have had their own school trust or some different type of funding. But if there's £1,000 was given to that gifted child for an additional whatever it was, then the council that they lived in would give half of that amount to the school, then with the £1,000 that it needed to support that child, but the other council paid half of it. And it seemed to be the few occasions that we had it, there was never any bother. But a couple of the city of Newcastle, there was never any bother with that. So if you get an agreement with the other two councils, presume there's a maximum amount of people are given for the help, isn't it?
Well, it would be up to us then as to how we wanted to structure it again. I mean, in the Blythe Valley days, 25,000. In those days of interest rates, you got quite a good return. And from what I remember, the biggest checks we would write out would be say for £25 for a talented gymnast or someone to go and things like that. But we just dealt with it. But now the income on £25,000, if we treat it the same way, isn't that great? So like, if we do want to take it on, it would be separate to the council altogether anyway, but we'll have to decide along either ourselves or along with the other two how we're going to do.
All right, Brian, and then Caitlin.
My question was going to be, well, I've got two now, back with Councillor Davies, sorry. How would we structure this as a representative from each council? Because with no disrespect to the chairs, I think it should be open to where it's not just a closed house of chairs who basically discuss it from each council, but also on the back of what you said, Councillor Davies, is we shouldn't just have it just for gifted children. We should open it up to children who need additional special needs or send children to maybe help them, because some schools are struggling to basically help send children with the structure and different needs they need, because some especially the school that my children go to, which you've been many times, they struggle with children that need one-on-one, sort of thing. So that's not just single it out to just gifted children, that's help the ones that need it as well.
Absolutely not. I think Grant was just
Yeah,
using that as an example.
But I just wanted to basically open the floor to see, you know, that's.
So, absolutely. I mean,
There was no malice in that, by the way.
yeah, Malcolm's just pointing out that the object of the charity when it was first set up was the advancement of education and well-being of young people, blah, 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 in the fields of the arts or physical recreation, to be used for the furtherance of their activities and to enable them to attend centre of excellences and that.
Yeah. But I just,
Yeah, and you're right, there should be a focus on
Yeah.
disadvantaged kids.
because all, like, I mean, you probably get sick when you get this, all
Yeah.
children have the ability to excel.
Yeah.
In, you know, in school, regardless of how
Right.
they perform.
Before I bring Caitlin in, a little bit of background, because I do know a little bit about this, because I was actually a trustee on it. Now, it doesn't actually name me on here, I'm quite surprised at that. It was in the time when Lee Paris was the Blythe Sports Centre manager, and he administered the trust. And I was on representing the town council, it was back in 2018. Stephen Stanners was on representing Seaton Valley Council, who was a councillor at the time. And I think there were 3 or 4 others. The problem was that you couldn't get the 3 or 4 others to come to the meetings. You couldn't get the other trustees there, so it was never quorate, or rarely was quorate, so it was difficult to make decisions. But the types of things that I've just looked back through my file, and the types of things that we were giving money out for was quite a lot for people to attend swimming courses who were elite swimmers at the time. There was rowing, there was a Formula One work experience, badminton, powerlifting, ice hockey. It tended to be focused on sports at the time. And the maximum that we were giving out was up to £500. And at the time, I think, as Malcolm said, we generated something like £5,000 a year in terms of interest. So you were giving out £5,000 per annum. And like I say, the problem we had was getting the existing trustees to attend the meeting, and then it just all kind of fizzled out, and I never heard anything more about it, to be honest. Caitlin, you want to come in?
My question, actually, Brian asked a similar one, which was how, if we decide to go, go through with this, how would the makeup of the trustees end up being? And then, I've actually got 2 others, but on the back of the discussion. One, it may say this and maybe I'm missing it, but obviously they award grants and it's saying that there's no financial or budgetary requirements from ourselves. How does the charity make an income and receive the money to give out grants? And also, seeing as this is Blythe Valley Trust, and obviously it was set up in the, I know it's set up in the Blythe Valley Borough days, but we technically don't have a Blythe Valley constituency anymore. Will we still be making it up of Blythe, Crampton, Seaton Valley? Thank you.
Yeah, that's the decisions we have to make.
Yeah, I think that's the problem you're gonna get. If you involve the 3 different parties, you're gonna make it so complicated, it will probably never meet. And I think it would be better if actually just Blythe took over the running of this. I mean, we might have to get approval from charity commissioners to change that, but if we just administer it for Blythe, it would just make life so much more simpler. And then we decide whether we want to top up the fund, put some more money into it, so, and I don't know how much interest you get these days on £25,000, but not a huge amount.
Malcolm, then Brian?
Sorry, it might affect what Brian said, but just an answer to that. I mean, obviously at the minute, you're probably looking, if you're looking just to round it off, £1,000, which isn't gonna go very far for kids in the town. You could, if you did want to do it, Active Northumberland would set us up, you know, sort everything out with the Charities Commission. And then we would be the trustees. We would then change the objectives and the remit. We could actually, if they want more money, they would apply to the council. And you could look at it as within community funding, do you want to give, £5,000 a year, or whatever, you could do it that way. Or you could simply, once you became trustees, think, right, well, we'll just never mind spend the interest on it, we could say, well, we'll spend interest plus a bit of the capital, knowing that if you didn't do anything else, you'd exhaust the funding. Yeah. X years time. There's a few decisions. Do you want to be involved in it? Do you want others? And then how do you want to distribute after that?
Yeah, if you just promise, I mean, when this was set up, £25,000 probably seemed like a lot of money. Like a lot of these trusts, over the years, trusts become so small, you're giving out £5 or something,
Yeah.
unless you actually top them up at some point, they disappear. I mean, there's been lots of other trusts like the Thornton Trust, all sorts of things, they just disappear after a period of time, because the funds are so small, I mean, I'd like to take it on board, but I think it'd just be simpler if we just did it ourselves within this one council rather than trying to get three involved.
That's short, Brian.
I just wanted to propose to the committee, we integrate this into the community development committee, as, you don't want.
No, it's by law, you can't do that. It's gotta be separate to the council, Brian.
Right, okay. So how are we gonna propose to do that? Are we gonna have councillors on there or?
Well, yeah, that would be, if you wanted to go down.
Well, can I propose we have a representative for each party instead of just having a closed?
Sorry.
If you don't mind, yeah, the charity would be a completely separate entity from the town council. If the town council decided it wanted to be the trustee, the managing trustee of the charity, you would have to completely separate your personalities, one hat from another.
Yeah.
And the charity would be politically neutral as well. So it shouldn't be dictated by the council who sits on the charity.
Yeah.
Everyone should have the opportunity
I
to
don't
do
mean to be
it.
rude when I say this, and we do get it quite a lot, because Labour are the majority here. Labour do close the shop quite a bit, so I wanted to say, we can be neutral, but we need to have some sort of neutral on boundary where we do have representatives on each party.
Yeah, I think as Elaine said, that would be the case, but I'd like to think certainly on this committee we've been neutral, certainly as long as I've been in the chair, and fair to all parties. Daniel?
When was the last time any of the funding was given out? From the.
Well, I can only go back to 2018, the notes that I have. Don't know what happened after that.
Sorry, what was that? When was it?
Just, I wasn't sure when the last time any of the beneficiaries had received any funding from the charity.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to the chief executive of Active, and I think when he became involved, he can't remember any meetings since prior to COVID. So that probably ties in with 2018. Certainly, if you cease to become a trustee, I don't know when you cease to become a trustee.
I didn't officially cease to become a trustee.
Oh, that's the current list from the.
I know, that's what I'm wondering why I'm not on it.
The thing.
Stephen Stanners as well.
Was there a reason why it's been left so long? Like, since 2018 then?
I've no idea. I can only surmise it maybe had something to do with Lee Paris changing his role, because he was the leader of this, if you like, and he obviously moved out of Active Northumberland. We had COVID as well.
Yeah.
Just a question, there's something on the Charity Commissioner's website, they would have annual accounts. Because they would have to publish the annual accounts, what they spent, what they're coming in, wouldn't they?
They do, they're currently overdue by about 139 days.
And just to confirm, sorry, Chair, just to confirm as well, none of the board trustees are wanting to continue any involvement. Obviously, that's including Active Northumberland as well, but the name of people and the three.
Yeah. Well, Active Northumberland can't because they're going to be liquidated.
Yeah.
I think the councillor Mitchison, I think is died. I think she was in Cromlin. Councillor. And I think they've either struggled or they've had expressions of we haven't got any interest anymore.
Right.
From the others. But the charity commission, according to the chief executive of Active, are quite happy that if Blythe Town Council are going to, take this on, as it were, that they'll liaise with Active to do all the paperwork in time for Active being liquidated.
And just one more question, Chair.
Yeah.
Just in terms of obviously this extra work, in terms of Blythe Town Council managing that, are you guys okay, like, as I say, it's more work to have to accommodate? How do you guys feel about it yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, you've always got to look at extra work. At the moment, we are, as you know, quite well down on our resources, but once we go back, I cannot see. I mean, we would, furnish the meeting. We'd have to have a separate bank account for the amount of payments and administration. I cannot see it being an onerous task.
Yeah, that's fine, just because.
They did have a minimum of 2 meetings a year and tried to go for 4 meetings a year. That was it. There was a little bit of press generated around it, just to make sure everybody knew that the opportunity was there. And that was about it, really. Right?
Could we possibly reach out to the committee and ask them to come along to sort of answer any questions we've got?
Reach out to who?
The committee, that's probably said.
But it doesn't really exist.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, could we reach out to them actually, so we can just ask any questions, or they could just basically tell how they were running it, so we could get a breakdown of what they've done in the past, what works, what doesn't work, so we don't make the same mistakes that they've done.
Well, I think Warren summed it up by saying that his last involvement was about 2018.
Yeah.
If we got the chief executive of Active up, he would tell you that he hasn't done anything. So I don't think you'll glean any more from getting the only trustee that's willing to talk at the moment.
Okay, Gail?
Just following on from question before and what John said, have Active only come to our town council about becoming the trustee, or have they also, or Cramlington and Seton Valley councils having this exact same conversation?
The reason it came to us was because it was felt, I think Jeff Watson had a word with Nigel and Active, and they thought it would just better sit with one of the parishes, and Blythe was the one that they came to for preliminary discussions.
And it's just obviously if we are wanting to go through with this and following on from obviously what we've said, if we are trying to say that Blythe Town Council becomes the trustee and it's just held with one council, obviously if the other councils were having the same conversations with their councillors and potentially wanting to do the same thing, we could all be just kind of having pointless conversations. But obviously if it's only come to us at the moment and then we make the decision about our councils and then have those conversations with the other councils, that completely makes sense.
Daniel?
Is it only, so if we take that on board, Chair, will it only be will we be giving out the funding for organisations across the whole of Blythe Valley or just in Blythe?
Well, that would be entirely up to us.
Right.
So we could, if we take it on, we could still decide that we would allocate to Seton Valley, Cramlington, or whoever. Is my interpretation of it. Is that correct?
I mean, our current, policy is that we, as a council, we fund applications to the benefit of Blythe residents and what have you.
Yeah.
But this is a separate thing altogether. It's not Blythe Town Council anymore, we are a trustee of the Blythe Valley Trust by you.
I mean, what I liked about it when I was involved with it is that it was different to the way we do our grant awards, and that it focused in on individuals in particular. And we don't do a lot with individuals, to be fair. It's groups and organisations. And this was kids in particular who were struggling, who had to attend, I don't know, a centre of excellence down in Leeds, and they couldn't afford to travel there. Yeah. So it was you could focus in on individuals whether it be sport, art, or what have you. So it does kind of complement what we do for organisations as well. Yes.
Chair, sorry if I can come back in. I don't, what obviously you've said to come across in the wrong way, I completely agree with you. I think I do really like the idea of it. Personally, I've used my own small schemes money towards helping a young person from Blythe help get where they want to go from the lifeguards. You know, they need funding to travel abroad. I think it was to represent Blythe. I think it's a really good idea to make sure those who need it can, because there isn't that many funds and grants available to them. We've seen the same with Savannah from Empire School of Boxing. You know,
Yeah.
we've got quite a lot of gifted young people in Blythe that need to raise the funds. And I think this will be a very good opportunity for the town council. Yes, keeping separate heads, don't worry. But I think it'd be very good for us to become a trustee and be able to promote it better than maybe it has been. It's not, like you say, if it's not really been that active since 2018, it's not something I was actually aware of. As you know, I only was around from that kind of era, so it's not something that I was aware of and haven't been able to promote. So if it is something that we as a town council can promote and have better use of the funds that are in there, definitely all for it.
When you were on it, Warren, how did you go about delegating the amount of funds you gave out to different areas? So did you do it based on what the application said, and also how many did you receive? Because one of the issues I perceive is that because we're delegating the money out to different parts of Blythe Valley, is I don't want to be seen in the public to say, oh, we favour this area, that area, because it's Blythe Town Council delegating it out. So when you were on it with the Seaton Valley members and the Hamilton members, you all had the benefit of each other. To say you probably knew the local organisations or people. Whereas in Blythe, I feel as though we're going to get that disadvantage. We obviously, I'm guessing, will only know what we know from what they tell us. And
Yeah.
we know then.
I mean, the decisions we made were based on the amount of people were asking for, the reason they were asking for it. And crudely, we did try and share it out between the three authorities and try and keep it even as we could. Right?
Yeah.
What we wanted to do with this, go back to Seaton Delville, well, Seaton Valley, like, you know, the old life consistency, or are we looking to look at what's it's coming in and, you know, around the corner and look at speaking to Bevel and then Ashington and doing it between them?
Fair point.
Not just Blythe. Like, I know, but because the boundaries are changing, the old Blythe Valley one.
Yeah, but they weren't part of Blythe Valley originally, I guess.
I understand that. But if we're going to look at it, and the boundaries are changing, I'm saying, are we going to look at going with to speak to them? Because the boundaries,
Not sure.
No, the original trust, Brian, was for the residents within Blythe Valley.
yes,
But it was Blythe Valley Borough Council,
Yeah.
not Blythe Valley Parliamentary, as it's
Yeah,
gonna
I
change.
understand that. but it Blythe Valley Borough Council isn't about anymore. Seaton Delville and Crampton is going into a different area. So going forward, can we not look at the future, what is going to be the new Ashington, Blythe and Bedlington, ward? Or, sorry, constituency.
Chair, I would tend to think of this as a brand new organisation you're setting up.
Yeah.
Forget what it was before, because I think that complicates things.
Yes,
Just think of it as a £25,000 trust, that this council will be the sole trustee.
Yeah.
And we'll administer it for Blythe Town.
Yeah.
Council.
But what I'm getting at, if we're going to speak to the other councils,
Don't have to.
are we go, you know, should we not look at the future because that's in the past, instead of looking and speaking to the old ones, which, because like we said, Blythe Valley doesn't exist anymore. To look forward to speak to Ashington and instead of making what was and go with what is.
Okay. Brilliant.
The trust deed, and I spoke to the Charities Commission as well, the trust deed only at the moment focuses on the historical boundary of the former Blythe Valley Borough Council.
Right.
And to make any changes to the trust deed and the area of beneficiaries it covers has to be agreed by the Charities Commission. So as a council, you can consider whether you want to take on this charity to administer solely, take on this charity and offer to work with the Seaton Valley and Cramlington, who were part of the former Blythe Valley Borough area. If they want to, you can work with them, or likewise, you can decide to do it solely and approach the Charities Commission and change the boundary to solely the area of
So we-
the current Blythe Town Council.
But then we can change it to Ashington Beverton instead of the other two.
Well, I don't know whether the Charities
If we could change
Commission
it
would,
just in Blythe, we could then change it to that instead of, and
well, it would have to be approved by the Charities Commission if that's what you
then it
want
would
to
be,
do.
have to be approved by the Charities Commission if we're gonna just.
Yeah,
open Blythe,
yeah,
won't it?
that-
Yeah. So
Any
either way,
changes would have to be
yeah.
approved.
but the thing is, what I'm getting at is Cramlington and Seaton Telepole are going in a total different area, where Blythe's going in a total different area. So we should not look at what is going to be the future of the area and look at future development and how we can enhance that with this and helping more in our area.
But respectfully, what you're doing is at the moment, you're changing the boundary to narrow it down to people who were considered part of the trust area.
Mhm.
Whereas what you're talking about is extending the boundary to encompass people that weren't part of the trust area.
No, I'm saying, don't, get rid of Cramlington and Seguil and Seaton Telepole and what, the head of Seaton Valley,
Mhm.
and then bring associate with Bennett and Ashton.
Yeah, I don't know how we'd be on with the charity commission, like you say, with that. It might be something we can explore. Are we in agreement that it's a good idea to take on the role of a trustee for this,
Yeah.
for this fund to begin with? Yeah, so we're all in agreement with that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next thing is whether we involve, Cramlington and Seaton Valley, or whether we limit it to Blythe Town or any other areas.
Shall be all for limited to Blythe Town till we get the thing up and running. And if the board of the charitable trust felt that it needed to expand its area later, they could always come back and was,
Okay.
Chair, I agree with that. I think, obviously reach out to Cramlington and Seaton Valley purely because they have had members of the trustee as trustees, like we said at the beginning, but try to see if we can limit it just to, our town council as trustees and then see if we can just limit it for now. Blythe, I think that's what you were saying, John?
Yeah, I think. I don't think you would ask them because they're not trustees.
Oh, they're not trustees,
They're
not at all,
No,
so.
there's only county council. They're the only trustee. And in a sense, it's their decision really.
If that's
Not
the
even ours.
position, then
It's
maybe I'm getting the wrong.
the power of appointing new trustees here and now shall be vested in the surviving or continuing trustees. So they're the surviving trustees.
So that,
So they're happy and the commissioners are happy with that. Well,
that's fine, if that's what,
Yeah.
if we're within our rights to do that, then that's fine, but at the beginning, Malcolm, you said that we would be discussing with Cramlington and Seaton Valley, do we still need to send
can I
that to
just,
them?
Chair, I suggested that because that's how the
Alright.
school fund works.
Okay.
Schools
I
made an
didn't say I might have got the
application
wrong end of the stick.
for gifted children, and if the child didn't live in that school, in that part of Northumberland, they lived somewhere else but were taught in Northumberland, the school would then, the county would then contact the neighbouring authority.
So that sense, if we're within our rights to just kind of hold this as, like you said, the council, the county council come to Blythe Town Council initially, if we are wanting to continue, take on this role, and we are able to limit it to just Blythe for now, then I'm fine with that. I think, we've said before, it's not a huge part of
No,
money, it might be
No.
easier while we get a handle on things to just, and if it's just the town council being the trustee for now, just keep it like that.
yeah, tend to agree with that, Brian.
How are we gonna, how, asked this before, but I didn't get an answer. It was one of the original question. Are we gonna decide who
Yeah.
is gonna sit on this?
Yeah, I think we'd be looking to the officers to come up with a report or some advice on how decisions are made on that and who makes those decisions. I think we're all in agreement it has to be neutral. I mean, it has
How
to be
many
anything, doesn't it?
people we're gonna have? Are we?
Well, you know, I don't think we've got the time to discuss that tonight, but
No, again, I mean, because this would have to be, it would be a recommendation from this committee to council.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something that we can only make a recommendation.
Yeah.
We can,
Chair, could I suggest that it's like similar to other all-party committees where it's the chairs of each of the groups plus.
Stop thinking along council lines, because it's not a council committee.
I know it's not a council committee, but it needs to be proportionate in terms of it needs to have, you need to make sure that it is separate. Currently, as other outside bodies, as the majority group, you decide who goes on. So there is no representation from other parties except the odd one. So we're only asking that when you consider who is going to be on it, it's not down to party politics. You are considering other members because currently there are members of this council who would like to be on bodies and you refuse. So we're asking if it can be considered.
yeah, sure, it could be considered, yeah. And it would be representative of our council, yeah.
and that can be incorporated in the report to the council on the evenings to join.
And it would be the council that's the trustee.
Yes.
Yes.
That's absolutely, we're all understanding that it's the council that is the trustee,
Yeah.
but presumably you are not suggesting that all 16 members have,
Could do.
or if you are, then absolutely, that's fine.
Could do, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Again, it's what Jeff Reed always says, let's put everyone on everything.
Elliot, did you want
No,
to?
that's what I was just
Said
gonna
that
say, that
before,
if
yeah.
it's the council that is the trustee, you could literally have all of the councillors as, you know, meeting as the trustee.
That would be
Yeah, absolutely.
great if that is allowed, because that would mean everyone gets a voice, so that'll be fine, thank you.
So I think we're in agreement that we take on the role of trustee for this amount.
Yeah.
And that will bring it back to full council.
There would need to be some changes in the document itself, would, I mean, like the name of it, like, you wouldn't call it Clyde Valley Trust, and it doesn't exist. And there's things about like having two people signing checks, which is
Yeah.
outdated now, there's things in there that need to be changed.
That's where
Who would do it?
the trust change via Act of Northumberland would resolve that with the charity commission. Charity commission stuff that.
Right.
You might still end up with that working, you know, Joe, through charity commission.
Yeah. Plus from my involvement working with the local community centre, it's very difficult to get small organisations have online banking these days.
Yeah.
We would have to see how best we would administrate.
Anyway, it's a positive thing for us, isn't it? That
Yeah.
they've considered that we should take on the fund. And it's gonna be good for people involved. At the end of the day, so we're happy to go ahead with that, and then we'll decide on the actual structure of whether it's the whole council or what have you. Back to full council, would have to be agreed there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can I just clarify that when we do the report to full council, that this committee is happy to that the council are involved as trustees. All councillors can be a trustee. The area that the beneficiaries are going to come from, because we'd like to wrap this up
I think
by the town, so
the
that's
census seems to be right.
by the town.
Chair, can I ask, does anyone here disagree with it just being
Well,
by
we know Brian's, we're trying to spread it out. Right,
You
And that-
suggesting something different?
No, I suggested,
you
but I
suggest,
never disagreed with it.
okay. Does anybody disagree?
All I was saying, if we're going to venture out to do the new about councils.
Yeah.
With the new boundaries, we should go out to the new ones that we're gonna be within.
It's fine to disagree, if anybody wants to. Anybody? Oh, we're all.
That makes it easier, that's all, rather than the select few saying we want it as the line.
Yes.
Now we know everyone's happy.
Okay, thanks, Caitlin. All right, we're happy with that one then?
And I just ask, are we, well, I know we've got limited information, we have got a limited fund of 25,000. We might as well try to wrap this up now, because what we agree at council, we want to be able to pass on to Mark, I can't remember his name, as chief executive, so he can work within his boundaries as well. But what are your thoughts still just to spend the investment from the 25? Is that how, do you want to set a maximum? Do you want to recommend a maximum to council?
It's not gonna be a lot, is it? On that 25, Brian?
Sorry.
No, you go first.
Just with the, we obviously give out as a council to various, groups and charities. How would we then, if we took on this charity, would we be able to apply for a £10,000 grant from the Lifetime Council, to help organisations, or would that be then a conflict of interest?
The charity could ask.
Yeah, but would that not then be how would that incorporate with a conflict of interest?
Well, Chair, I would presume that if all councillors are discussing as Gladtown councils as a trustee and there isn't any specific councillors, we'd all be neutral parties and.
Because I mean, are we gonna do, or we'll sit in the room and go, right, we're gonna apply £6,000 off the council, and then we're just gonna shuffle the seat to the side and go, right, okay, we're.
They took about £6,000 from this trust fund.
Yeah, yeah.
No, well, it never happened because we're just working on the interest.
No, I mean, from, the community, the grants that.
Our grant.
Yeah,
Yes.
Right.
that's what I'm on about. How would that work if, say, that this charity we take on applies for a grant from the council itself?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And how would it be incorporated of a conflict of interest?
I would think obviously you're wearing two different hats.
Yeah.
And as a charity, you're applying for a grant. I wouldn't advise applying for £10,000.
Yes,
The grant
but that was
application policy did, that's only in exceptional circumstances. But you would also, as a charity, be required to submit safeguarding policies if you have them. Your accounts, you're submitting everything that any other organisation would be expected to. You're doing it transparently, and as a council, you're making that decision. Yeah, you're putting your council hat on.
Yeah.
Looking at an application from an external body, which is the charity, and making that decision as a corporate body.
Yes.
So I mean, we can take advice on it, certainly, definitely take advice on it, but if you're collectively making that decision, there's very little, I don't think, and as long as it's transparently being done,
Yeah.
the same way as everybody else's applications coming in.
Because I mean, we've had council representatives who've been involved in organisations and applied and had to leave the room.
Oh, yeah.
If you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
We're all gonna sit on this board of this
Should have to
charity.
leave the room before you.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do, we all leave the room and we can't discuss it.
That's, unfortunately, that happens with the law, never mind,
I know, but then who's, that's what I'm saying.
if you have an interest in an application, you cannot be there when a decision's made on that application, that is the law.
But if we as a charity, if we take this on as a charity and we then.
As,
then- Jesus.
Can I just run this
another way?
Jesus,
Yeah.
You know, a while ago, we give, was it £5,000 to the food bank?
Yeah.
The council decided just to give them the money.
Yeah.
We could do the same with this, presumably.
Exactly.
We could top up the charity fund.
That's all I was asking. It didn't need to be that.
We do that, couldn't we?
Right, I get
But the
where
council
you're
just-
going, right, yeah. Caitlin,
I was gonna say, can we just cross this bridge when we come to it? I think the fact that we are suggesting that the entire,
No,
like,
it
all
wasn't
councillors would be on the trustee, like, discussing it, means that no one councillor is overly involved as opposed to another.
Yeah.
So everyone can kind of make even discussion and we can, like say, top it up because individuals don't tend to come to us for community funding,
No,
as a town council. Maybe one group would, but they would do it on a whole, they wouldn't necessarily direct it as an individual, so that's where these differ.
yeah. The other thing I guess we'd need when and if and when we take this on, is some kind of policy to go alongside it. So we're saying it may be maximum amount we give out is £500. You know, there could be some guidelines too.
Now,
Fun,
is that what Malcolm's asking from us now? Were you saying,
would help.
or
It
is that
would
something
help,
we
yeah.
can discuss
It would
at a
also,
date with all councillors?
yeah, and it would also, you might want to consider now, that you don't have all 16 potentially as trustees. You have a lesser number based on two per group.
You could do one per ward, I suppose. Oh, that'd be complicated, wouldn't it? Yeah, I don't know, don't know.
As long as it's somehow proportionate and includes a number of people, then we're happy with that. So if you would like it to not be 16 and you would like it to be 8, as in 1 per ward, or if you would like it to be 2 per group, absolutely, that's like what are we thinking?
I don't know.
And presume you're only gonna meet twice, presume you put an advert out saying, does anyone want to apply for a grant?
Yeah.
And you meet twice a year.
Yeah.
Dish it out.
Is it, if it's only gonna be twice a year, is there any different than having, like, have a full council meeting and having all members discuss it? Although I know as community, different community funding, as the amount that we have can sometimes be a long process.
Okay. It's a tricky one, the whole process. We're not talking about a huge amount of money here, but we still need to get it right and make sure it's representative and it's fair for those who are making the decision. And that the criteria we use is fair for everybody who's applying. So I think there's still a little bit of work to do, but what do you need to take back
Well,
to?
it's just about a clear recommendation to council. I mean, you know, when you look at the original trust deed, that served the whole of the borough. You had Gilbert, who was it, councillor, Dave Crawford was the chief executive. You've got Dr. Dugan, John and Shaw. Rita Ferry was the chief executive, wife is not 5, then a Brian Lambert 6. So you had 7. You had 8 there serving the whole of the borough.
8 for the whole of Blythe Valley.
So that was a population of towards 80,000, I think. You could just have 1 or 2 per group. And then you don't have
2
that,
per group,
you don't have that conflict if you do.
2 per group.
Yeah.
You think, John?
I think Jeff and Sandra will probably be happy with that.
Well, let's propose 2 per group.
You guys happy with that?
Yeah.
You heard one.
I personally, I prefer everybody just to make it easier, all 16. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I'd second that.
Yeah, you couldn't put 2 per group in a trust document, could you? No, see what the odd one is.
No, the charity, which I wouldn't wear that.
No, because you wouldn't be able to.
The only thing is, it's different to our community development pot. We've got to kind of take our councillor hats
So
off.
why not put something in where the full council chooses the members after every election? Because you would have, if see, I die tomorrow, John decides to retire by next May, it leaves a different set of people here. So in the document, why didn't tell the charity commission that at the first, the annual meeting after every election, the new commissioner, the new charity, would name its members.
Yeah, but still, we still don't
As long as it's fair.
know how many people. Are we going back to the idea of on the full 16?
I mean, we can't make a decision here, there's only. Imagine 16, and somebody
think-
said, yeah, we'd like to go to this second one, and you could.
Yeah. I think 16, as much as I would love it, I always agree with Jeff when he suggests it. However, for this particular issue, we know that with however many is on funding, it takes a lot to sometimes come to an agreement. I would suggest maybe 8, but however it is fair and representative, maybe we would say half the number of councillors on it.
Right.
Because like Grant says, we discuss, the way that we're discussing this right now, imagine if all 16 were here.
Some councillors might not even want to be here.
Exactly.
That's true.
I mean, and it's £500, it's only a £500. It's not gonna take that much, surely.
Yeah,
Well, it doesn't have to be, that's just an example, that's what we used to do. Could be more than that. We
I
want
think
to,
it
it's up
probably is
to us.
quite a good
I
idea
mean,
to
it's just
keep
for one person.
knowing how much is in the pot.
As I said, at the minute, you're probably looking at a maximum of, well, no, minimum of 2. If people apply for 500, you only have 2 successful grant applications a year,
2 per annum.
unless you change the remit of what you spend.
Brilliant.
Just, I've got here a National Association of Local Councils legal topic note on basic charity law. And it says that if a council is the sole trustee, it should set up a committee. So that would be the charities committee, not the council's committee. The individual committee members are not charity trustees. The committee is governed by charity law, and decisions are made in the best interest of the charity, not the council. The charity's governing document will set out if non-councillors can be members of the committee. If not, all members of the committee must be councillors. So you do have the ability as a charity to set up a committee from the councillors rather than it being all councillors. And that would be legal. But I would still think we would need to run it all by the Charities Commission as to how it would operate, but it would be up to the councillor to set the committee for the charity.
All right.
And the Heart of Clyde puts out grants and they have residents that make their committee. Do we
Residents
want
poll.
to be opening it up to non-councillors?
Got no government money, and it's not a charity,
I know it's not a charity, I'm just saying it's,
it's a loan at call. I think it's a CIC.
I think it is, but that I'm not meaning it's a charity. Obviously, we're saying that
You know,
there is the
they're going by
ability.
completely different rules altogether. To form a charity, a CIC is a small business that can give money away.
It sounds like from what Elaine said that we could bring other people to the decision making body.
Or could we have a blend where we have councillors and part of the community?
But how?
And then how do you decide who's on it?
Give it to the public, put it on the Facebook page and do it. There you go.
They call elections, yeah, when we forget it.
I don't know what I'm going to decide tonight.
No, we're going around in circles here, but can we ask that the officers have a look at this and come up with a proposal for full council based on the fact that we are going to take the money on, we are going to be the sole trustee, but look at a couple of recommendations around numbers and whether it's just councillors or whatever. Are you happy to do that? Just come up with some ideas? Yeah, all right, just to move things on. Great, thanks for that. Right, we've got a couple of grant applications to consider now. First one of which was the citizens' advice, which we deferred. Elaine, you remind me why we deferred it?
Get this?
Yeah, you deferred the citizens' advice grant application as there were an organisation with a significant income and expenditure.
Yeah.
And they were asking from the town council, you were curious to know whether they also had funds received from other town and parish councils. The supporting documents weren't available at the meeting, which did detail the funding within the last financial year that they have received from towns and parishes.
Right.
But Fahim has prepared this document that highlights what they've received in the past 2 years, and also indicates whether they've got localised offices within each area.
Excellent. Nice work for him on this. Excellent work. Everybody got a copy first of all? Yeah. Comments, Caitlin?
Firstly, thank you, because this is very detailed. At the committee meeting, we said if citizens' advice had spoken to other town or parish councils, that we would be happy to proceed with the £5,000 it states here in the year 23-24. Is that that did we do it last year? What financial year are we in? Are we in 24-25?
Yeah.
So did we provide 5,000 last year?
Yes, you did.
Apparently we did.
Yeah.
And the year before.
Yeah, apparently we've done it multiple times. So the fact that they have received money from other town councils, I propose that we agree the 5,000 for them.
Right, well, we can't agree that at this stage until we get to part two, but if there's anything else to discuss, no, that's fine. Do we need to discuss that any further then? No?
No.
Good. And the other one, which was the Friends of LV50. Now this got lost in the system, unfortunately, tied in with Ollie going off sick and Joe about to move on, various issues, very understandably. Just got lost, but we felt we needed to have a look at this one as well. They're asking for 3,950 contribution towards converting 2 existing manuscripts, Blythe's Lightship and 7 Stones to Blythe, a Lightship Man's Journey, to become audio books available for all, and in particular for those with reading difficulties and disabilities.
Chair, I would like to support this, and for all I do need to declare an interest. My mother was one of the biggest users in the library service in Northumberland of the audio book service, and she was blind. So she had virtually every Mills and Boon book or ever was converted to audio. The man actually used to deliver to a house. He was on his way home at night if a new one came out. She would have absolutely loved these 2 history audio books to listen to them. But they loved all that sort of stuff as well. So I suppose that in the past I would have had an interest, but today I don't have. But I think audiobooks are a very, very valuable thing, and I think society should use them more.
I agree. As someone with a chronic illness, I struggle to hold physical books, and audiobooks are a brilliant way for anyone with a chronic disability to be able to actually read. So definitely I agree with Councillor Davey.
Yeah,
There's no reason, Chair, we should be voting against this one.
okay, anybody else? That's it, short and sweet, thank you. Right, no delegated actions to consider. Any other business? Yes, we'll have one item. I'll find it. You did give me a copy of it. There it is. And John might be able to tell us a little bit more about this. It's the larger council forum event that NALC. Sorry, are you okay?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. It's the larger council forum on the 10th of July at County Hall that NALC are arranging. John, do you want to flesh that out a little bit?
Well, the NALP organisation are looking at two things. One, the meeting of the larger councils. They're also trying to get the smaller councils to attend the LACs as their route into discussing things. So the larger councils, it's based on £140,000 on your precept. So it lists, there is a list of the larger councils. I think it was 16 larger councils, which were one. And this was sent out several weeks ago now, but we'll have to have the names in by next Friday. So I asked the town clerk, we'll just put it onto this meeting, because the names have to go in next Friday. So it's a question of just finding two people from this council who would like to go to the larger councils meeting. And I guess we can change the names later on if you want to do that.
Okay. It's the 10th of July, it's 1 till 3 at County Hall. Types of things that might be discussed would be the NCC budget and how the existing budget has impacted services, suggestions to improve. There's likely to be an NCC presentation from a larger council about good practice on new projects. An ALC topic, which would be a code of conduct, open floor discussion, any other business.
Just on the budget, we're hoping to have 3 meetings a year. One meeting will be in sort of the November time when the county are setting up the budget to discuss what's likely to be in it. And then the one early spring will be what's in the budget. And then later on, how's that affected the town councils, if at all? So it's like the 3 cycles setting up a budget. What is the budget? And what effect has that had on the larger councils? And then we'll be asking the larger councils, are there any issues that you particularly want to talk about? And I think in the past it's mainly been about the partnership issues and, what was not on that committee, but those type of
John,
issues.
you'll already be there
Yeah.
in your role as NALC
Chair, yeah.
NALC chair.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 spaces.
Yeah.
Anybody interested from here? Elaine? Yeah?
Come on.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I'm interested in this type of thing, but I'm quite happy to step back if anybody else would like to attend.
It's 1 till 3, isn't it?
1 till 3.
Yeah,
When was that? Sorry.
It's the 10th of July.
I would have been interested, but also don't know whether I have conflicted interest working for NCC, but at that time, I won't be able to get the time off work, so it's all right.
I think it's a commitment for regular attendance, not just on the 10th of July, it's for the
There'll
3.
be 3 a year proposed anyway.
Will, whoever attends, will it be fed back to the wider council what's been discussed?
Yeah, you should get the minutes of the meeting. It's
Absolutely.
Yeah, have to be fed back, yeah.
Wednesday.
Then,
Well,
or if
I'd be
you're,
very happy for Elaine to attend, but are people happy for me to attend?
yeah,
Yeah? Thank you.
Be bored together.
Yeah, thanks. Right, date and time of next meeting is Thursday, 26th of September. And we'll go straight into part 2.